do you guys want to introduce yourself as Mustard MMA?
We are Mustard MMA. My name's Matt, co-host along with Joseph down there. Joseph.
Hello.
Thanks for having us on, Lewis.
I appreciate it, mate. You guys I love your podcast as well. So collabs are best. So
it's great to be here.
Awesome, man. Right, let's start then with the crazy fight of Jessica Andrade and Cynthia Calvillo on 266. Now, Andrade, the powerhouse, not looking good against Shevchenko in her last meeting, but coming back against someone a lot lower ranked. You're saying Cynthia. How do you think this is going to go, considering she's lost 3 of the last 4 fights, Andrade?
I think when you look at the names she's fought, I think they're all champions. When Zhang was for the title, Rose was for the title, and Shevchenko's just Shevchenko, isn't she? She absolutely battered her. That's probably the worry. But when you look at Calvillo, it's a different level, isn't it? I think she'll be all right. It's a perfect fight for her to bounce back from. And I don't think Calvillo's got much of an impressive record in comparison. Don't know if that's a bit harsh, but it's a cracking one. Was this the opener at that big event?
Yeah, it's the opening on the main card, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a cracking way to get going, because I think Andrade is going to come back in a big way there.
Yeah, I think Andrade's recent record is tough, like you say, but they are good opponents there. I think she went down to flyweight, and it probably suits her, I would say. It's just that she had one win. She was straight in against Shevchenko for a title fight and got stopped in that one. So I think probably she is kind of in that best of the rest in that division, and probably towards the top of it as well. So I think she should probably win this one. Calvillo, even if you just go off the records, Calvillo lost to Chugagian last time, and that was the fighter that Andrade beat on a flyweight debut. So it doesn't always add up like that. But I think
MMA maths don't win, does it? Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's a good fight, probably for Andrade, opening up the main card. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she got a finish, and if that's what she's on there to do, to be honest.
Yeah. As you said, the competition is a lot. I don't think that was unfair to say. I think, her best win is against Jessica Ai. I think she beat JoJo a while back as well, but other than that, the names are just, as you said, like, not even ranked fighters. They're just the prelim fighters, as you were, as harsh as it sounds, but that's the kind of level she's at, isn't she? The gatekeeper to the top 5, maybe.
Leading, having such a high ranking. It's such a shallow division, and it's new. That's always going to happen with new divisions, flyweight. So, but I think it is. I think she's number 1 or 2, Chikadian, which she isn't a number 1 or 2 without sounding harsh. But I think, I think we'll see Andrade come back in a big way.
Yeah,
hopefully as well, because I like her, and she's got all the tools. She was didn't hold the belt for long, did she? But she's always exciting, win or lose. So, cracking way to start that event.
Yeah,
good opportunity for her. Sorry, good opportunity for Calvillo there. If you get a win, she'll get a title shot off the back of it, I would have thought. So plenty of incentive there.
Yeah, because who's left for Shevchenko at this stage? Anyone that gets 1 or 2 in a row gets the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Get Meatball in there.
One more win, you might.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Awesome. So we've all got Jessica in that, I imagine.
Yeah.
By finish for me as well. Definitely. And then the next fight is, okay, this one to me is a main event. The big boys. We've got Rozenstruik and Curtis Blaydes. Now, Curtis Blaydes coming off being decked by Derek Lewis. My missus' favourite fighter, Big D. With that stupid uppercut, just looking for the whole fight, And then we know Curtis's level now. Curtis to me is like, he should be champion, but he just can't figure out not getting hit. His wrestling should be destroying most of these heavyweights. He's got like that blueprint to just sit them down on their ass and just grind them out, but he just doesn't. What he did to Overeem, for instance, sit him down, sit in a guard and just elbow him until his head snaps back. And I know it's Overeem and he's used to it, but it's do you know what I mean? He's got that style that could be like, he could really cause. If Rozenstruik cannot defend this first takedown, it's going to be a long, long night for him.
Joe, do you want to go? Because I know you're you're a big man for Rozenstruik, and you've always
yeah.
But even before he sort of hit the big time, you were sort of banging the drum for him. So, Joe, what do you reckon? Do you reckon he's got a chance to get back in there?
Yeah, I do like Rozenstruik. I think he's a good fighter. I think obviously he's had a couple of holes that have been exposed in more recent times. So clearly there's a bit to do there. But he's quite inexperienced. I think he's only had 14 fights ever, which, you know, is not a lot really. So like you said, I agree there about Curtis Blaydes, and I think he could be a champ and should be a champ. He just does always fall at that last hurdle. I think he looking here, he won 5 in a row and then got sparked by Francis Ngannou, and then he won 4 in a row and got sparked by Derek Lewis. So it's kind of the potential is definitely there. It's just like, you know, he gets hit and then he gets stopped against, admittedly, 2 very big punchers there, Ian Ngannou and Derek Lewis. Rozenstruik, I don't know. He's not quite at that level. He's certainly knocked a lot of people out. So the risk is there again. But as much as I like Rozenstruik, it's difficult not to fancy Curtis, I think, in this one, because of what, you know, he could do potentially with the wrestling and the ground and pound. And that would appear to be one of Jairzinho's weaknesses. So difficult one to call, I think. You've got a good set of heavyweights on the prelims as well, actually, in Abdurakhimov and Daukaus, 2 youngsters could be potentially fighting the loser of this one. But yeah, a tough one to call. I would have to back Curtis Blaydes, but if you're looking at his weakness being getting knocked out by sort of one-hit punchers, then Jairzinho is one of those as well.
Yeah, it's smart money's on Curtis, isn't it? Like all day.
Smart money, definitely.
We did the breakdown for Blaydes versus Lewis. As you said, Lewis, he's got everything to beat a fighter like Derek Lewis. He should be winning that all day long. We said it. I don't think you'd put any pennies on Derek Lewis to beat Curtis Blaydes because of the disparity in the grappling and one's weakness and one's strength. But he gets knocked out by this. The same with Francis twice. Could happen again with Rozenstruik, but as Joe alluded to, I think he is a bit of a step down from them lads in terms of his striking. He doesn't seem to be the same since that Francis fight as well. Seems a bit tentative, but at the same time, when I'm talking, he's only fighting animals as well. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. And when you look at, like, even Overeem dominated him for 24 minutes, was it? You know, when he got in the last few seconds, when his lip did the what's the name? People forget about that one. I did as well, just now. But getting wrestle fucked by Overeem for that long doesn't stand you in good stead when you've got Blaydes in front of you. So you've got to go with Blaydes here. I feel a bit sorry of him. He's a bit of the bridesmaid in that heavyweight division, isn't he? So it'd be good to see him get a bit of a run going.
Yeah, and both guys, as you say, have only lost, I think, twice. He's lost to Francis, Curtis Blaydes, and then 1 to Lewis. So he's lost to 2 guys ever. And then you've got Rozenstruik, who's lost to Garn, who we know now is legit, is the real deal. Again, Francis, which was that 15-second blitz where he got hit with everything. It was just crazy to watch. So, yeah, man. But the one thing I would say is Rozenstruik, I'm worried for, is he plants his feet. He's a kickboxer that doesn't move. He kind of plods along and lands heavy shots and sits down on them. And if Curtis grabs a single, he's just driving him. And he's going to go... I don't see how he defends this, because he's not like a 6'4", 5" Francis size guy either. He's not like got the weight, but he's just a fat guy. He's, you know what I mean? He's a. That's how else you describe him other than a fat heavyweight. He never looks. You're not like, oh, he's come in shape, isn't he? Rozenstruik, never. He's never jacked. No. He's just a big dude.
It just sounds so similar to the Derek Lewis preview.
And then he's going to get uppercutted.
Yeah.
I'd say either look overweight to their face, but I get your point. They're not exactly chiseled. So, but we'll see. Who I want to win is a different matter. I don't know. It's a difficult one because it's a long way back for the loser, isn't it?
Yeah. The loser I can see facing someone like an Aspinall, like in if Aspinall wins his next one, he could be easily fighting a Curtis Blaydes if he loses this. You know that Curtis would need a win, so he's going to fight someone outside of maybe a top 5. And then someone on a bit of a roll. If Aspinall wins his next, he's on 5-win streak. He's going to be calling out someone. I know he wants a slow grind, but you can't keep fighting ranked 10 people for 5 fights. He'll be getting the big names. And someone like this on a losing streak, that's a big name.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think the difficult thing here is even if they win, neither of them are going to get a title shot anytime soon. There's too many names in there. Francis and Garn have got a fight. Stipe will want a fight. John Jones will have to have a fight at some time. Derek Lewis is in there at number 3. Blaydes is number 4. Blaydes has already lost to Lewis and to Ngannou. So, I mean, what could Blaydes get if he wins this? Maybe a Derek Lewis rematch, which would be okay, I suppose, and maybe fancy his chances. Rozenstruik, number 6. Again, where can he go from here? It's difficult. I think.
Just being Zoom.
But yeah, it's a tough fight for either man because there's not too much reward here either way, but quite a lot of risk, as Matt says. If you do lose, it doesn't look that great.
Yeah, I agree. So you got in this one.
Division's looking class, though, isn't it?
It is. It's stacked, isn't it? It's stacked.
Dinosaurs and just fighters who have just been in there. But now you're looking at it, and we're talking about the loser of this one being just being nowhere near, and it's either Rozenstruik and Blaydes, who are great fighters. So yeah, and you've got Aspinall coming through, Daukaus on the undercard. Yeah, cracking division. It's looking spicy all of a sudden.
I like that. It's spicy heavyweights. Lovely. So who's the smart money? You going Curtis?
I think I will. Yeah, it's got to be. You got to play the odds, didn't you? And that's the blueprint to beat Rozenstruik. So yes, let's go Curtis, eh?
Yeah.
I'll go Rozenstruik. I'll go Rozenstruik. Yeah.
Good man.
Curtis gets knocked out when he faces the real big hitters. And this will be his third. This will be his third.
Curtis is going to have to go back to somewhere, man, after this. If it does happen anyway. All right. Now, I don't know if you guys were planning a video for this one. I was planning a big video for this one, and I'd like to get you guys' opinion big time on this, on Robbie Lawler and the return of Nick. I'll let you guys begin with this because I've got notes after notes about this fight.
Well, first off, I think it is the perfect matchup to make. You see a lot of the time these people come back and fight people they shouldn't really be fighting. Vets, like we see it last night, Triller, don't we? The matchmaking that shouldn't really be happening. But obviously this is the biggest organisation in the world and they've done it right, and they've got someone who's on a massive skid, a rematch however many years in the making, and the return of a legend. I mean, 5-round fight for a non-title fight for the second time in history. So it's a cracking fight all round. I can't even begin to try and break it down there technically, because we have no idea what sort of, not that I know how to do that anyway, but for the fact that what is Nick going to look like? Do we have any idea of what sort of shape he's going to be in? Yeah, he does a few triathlons here and there, but what's it like when he's in there in a cage with Robbie Lawler, who's not looked great himself of late? So it's very, very interesting. I think we've got a lot more questions than answers at the minute, but hopefully we find out a week Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, go on, man. Go on. Go on, you.
I was going to say very much similar to Matt there. This one isn't one that I look at and I'm interested in breaking down like technically and like who's got the better striking, who's got the better grappling, etc., etc. I think this is just like it's entertainment. This one, it's entertainment. If you've got the main event, Volkanovski Ortega. If that's like that's the pinnacle of the sport. That's the elite there, right? This one is just pure entertainment. Obviously, these lads have been at that elite level at different points in their careers, but it's just a super fight. I think for me as well, it's different to that. These two are a little bit before my time, or at least in their prime, especially. I mean, Nick Diaz. When was the last time he fought? It was
7 years ago. 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago, going on 6.5, 7. So, I mean, that was when he was lying down against Anderson Silva as well, weren't it? So, Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit. It's just a throwback, isn't it? It's just pure spectacle. Nick Diaz. I think we all gave up hope. Not all of us. I was speaking to someone the other day. They was like, "Yeah, they always believed he would come back." I started to give up hope a little bit about Nick Diaz coming back. But I mean, is it going to be worth the hype? That's the question. I mean, I'd be happy for Robbie Lawler, but if Nick Diaz comes back and gets knocked out by Robbie Lawler first round, it'd be a bit of an anticlimax, because it's not like it's not like he's coming back in against the best, is it, either? And he could claim, oh, well, maybe I'll set my sights a bit too high. It'd certainly stop the momentum, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, I think it's good for Robbie Lawler. It's almost like a reward for him in a way, isn't it? I'd imagine this is going to be a send-off fight, but, Robbie Lawler's had it tough of late. He's lost his last 4. He beat Cerrone somewhere in there, and before that he lost to Woodley. So, hopefully we get a decent fight out of it, because I think on the flip side, you're looking at Robbie Lawler and thinking, Matt mentioned Triller there. Is Robbie Lawler going on a little bit too long? I think that adds a different dimension to it as well.
Oh man, I got Robbie knocking him out quick.
Really?
Nick is nearly 40. And if you look at recent videos of him training, and I know what the Diaz brothers are like, one trains hard, one needs money. And the rumor has it is Nick Diaz needs some money. So his skin in the last picture, I know it sounds silly, but his skin just looked awful. And when you're training like that, how dehydrated he is to get down to a weight again. He hasn't done a weight cut in however long. He did that one picture where the lighting was great. It was set up for him as a return picture. But is that what he looks like every single day up until this fight? I don't think so. And Robbie takes everything super seriously. So when he came back, Robbie 2.0, and he came back and did the streak, won the belt, defended the belt, and then went on this little run now he has, where he unfairly lost against Askren in my head still. Pounding Askren's head into a canvas he won that. No one, Askren holding his hands up, covered in blood, eye hanging out his socket, going, but you didn't even tap to a headlock is a little, that to me, he won that fight.
Classic, that was one of his greatest hits, Dean, that was.
That was, yeah. Whenever I used to see Herb Dean and be like, good ref, here we go. You've got a good ref. And now I see Herb Dean, I'm like, it's like Steve Mazzagatti again.
Yeah.
It's
always waiting.
There's always yeah, I've got Robbie winning this within a round for me personally. I think Robbie has been in there recently. He's what Robbie does. He comes out of the gates. And he nearly finished Cerrone within the first minute. If you watch that fight back, and Cerrone just stuck in it and then grinded it out and nearly. But I think it was a split decision. I can't remember, but it was tight, that fight. He came back in the second and third against him. But Robbie for me, I can't put any money near Nick Diaz for this fight. I haven't seen what he's like, but 7 years without a fight cannot be good for you if you're then stepping in against Robbie Lawler. If Robbie Lawler was 60 years old against this Nick Diaz, I would put money on him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Robbie Lawler to me. And if it's before your time, but I've watched him for his whole career. And it's just, Robbie's one of my favourites. So I'll be putting a large sum of money down on Mr. Lawler.
Yeah, I think you make some very, very good points there. I mean, I think that Woodley just sort of took something away from him in that fight. And I think in the McDonald fight, something seriously sort of went. A lot waned in that, and then the Condit fight. So he has lost a lot since those massive wars that he's been in, and it caught up with him in the Woodley one, and he's not really looked the same since. Even in the Cerrone one, I don't think he looked quite the same. Yeah. But even when you throw all that together, Nick hasn't won in 10 years. He hasn't won a fight in 10 years. He hasn't fought in 7. There's a lot of question marks over what sort of shape he's going to look like, and I think you've just sort of burst my bubble a little bit there. Now I'm expecting some geezer to turn up with a skin condition. I'm hoping for a competitive fight. It's a perfect matchup for the pair of them, like you say, Joe. It's a good opportunity for Nick to get for Robbie to get some kind of win back. I mean, to have that Askren loss on your record is always going to be a bit of a struggle, isn't it? Like forever, that's always going to have that L next to his name. But I think he can get it done. It's going to be stand up in it, but I think we'll just see a lot of antics from Nick Diaz. a la the Anderson Silva fight, and I don't know if that's the right man to be doing it against.
Yeah, the issue with Nick as well is if whenever he loses, it's not his fault. So you can expect that as well. It'll be like, no, judges, or something, or I didn't have my weed, something. It's gonna be it's gonna be some really big excuse when he gets pounded. But I poke me.
We're all tuning in to find out, aren't we? That's the whole point of the whole game, to just tune in and see what happens. And it's a masterstroke getting him on that card. It will do well. Yeah,
if they get past the third round, I would like to see what Nick actually does look like, because that was what his whole game was based around, was body shots, 50% shots continuously for 25 minutes. And his best days to me were in Strikeforce when he fought people like Paul Daly. That's the best of Nick Diaz to me. When he entered the UFC, you never really saw a good Nick Diaz. He was just moaning the whole time for me. And that might upset a lot of fans, but Nate to me is a much better martial artist than Nick Diaz.
Do you think that he would have picked a 5-round fight, though, if he weren't ready to look at it from the other side?
Yeah, because it's Nick Diaz and they've got an ego. You believe in yourself, didn't you? If you step in there, you believe in yourself. But I don't think he understands a little bit here how good Robbie is since they last fought. They fought like 16 years ago. Like, that was the first time. Robbie was a baby. Nick was a baby. Since then, Nick has done nothing, essentially, other than make a bit of money. He hasn't won anything. He's fouled for title shots and interim title shots multiple times. He's got no contests where he's tested positive. Granted, it's for weed, but he doesn't obey the rules of the organization, basically. And then you've got Robbie, who had to redefine himself, come back, win a championship. He's got his legacy. He's defended the belt as well, for people that argue you're not a champion till you defend it. He's done that as well, as you say, with the McDonald and the Condit fight. So, yeah, I just personally think Robbie, first round, overhand right. Bye-bye, Nick.
Very confident.
Yeah. Oh, you watched Sod's Law? Nick rib shot.
I'd love to see it, though. I love Robbie Lawler. He's in the top 5 of everyone's list, isn't he? Really, favourite fighters. You can't get a bigger fan favourite than that. But at the same time, what a story it'd be if Nick can get a win, because it just opens up. Even if you think he's going to get cleaned out by the proper upper echelons in welterweight, if he wins, he's in for like a number 1 contender shot. As crazy as it sounds, he's straight in there.
Yeah, and then he'll die. Could you imagine him against Kamaru Usman?
Yeah.
That'd be a bad no. If he thought people like Anderson were bad, you think he fought middleweight. He's a big dude, Nick Diaz. Cutting that weight is going to hurt him.
We'll see. I'm buzzing for it, though.
Awesome. I'm on Robbie's train. Have either of you got Nick then after my argument?
I don't know.
I would actually pick Nick. Actually, I would.
Don't let me convince you.
Yeah, I'm not as confident in Robbie Lawler at all. I mean, Nick's younger than him. I don't think Robbie's got much left in the tank at all, to be honest with you. And like you say, if Nick is coming back because he needs a bit of dosh and that's it, one in, one out, then fair play, probably lose. But I reckon he'd at least fancy himself to beat a couple of people. And I think, despite everything you just said about Robbie Lawler, I think Robbie Lawler is a nice little entry fight back in. And if you can't beat him, then fair enough, pack it in.
Yeah, that's fair. Nick could win. I just got a little chip on my shoulder. Perfect.
I'm going to go with Nick as well. I'm going to have some of that, Joe. I'm torn, to be honest. I think it's just it's just too many questions going into the fight. But you got to go, Nick. You got to go with the hype, haven't you?
Nice. Get on the hype train.
Get on the hype train. bet McGregor every time. Perfect.
Don't say McGregor around that. He hates McGregor.
Yeah.
I don't mind him now. He's getting beat.
Oh man. The next one I have made a video on my channel, and it was a 5-minute rant on how Lauren Murphy is going to lose against Shevchenko and how I don't see her winning at all. based on she can grapple, but so could Andrade. And then Shevchenko's got a chip on her shoulder where she beats you at your own game 10 times as well. She's got the John Jones kind of female style about her. That's to me who she is. She's the female John Jones, because she went up 20 pounds essentially to fight Amanda Nunes, and Amanda Nunes weighed 170 on the day and went a split decision with her. So Valentina to me is the best female fighter, like technically. And she's fighting a lady that's got a good win streak, but is nearly 40 years old and offers very little in terms of what anyone else in the division who Shevchenko has just fought. Do you know what I mean? Like, who would you put if Lauren Murphy was fighting Andrade? You would back Andrade, surely, because she's the powerhouse. She's got better striking, better grappling. She's got better cardio. She's gone with tougher people. And Valentina ragdolled her and made her look like a child. So Lauren Murphy to me offers nothing. And I've done my video on it. But if you guys know something about Lauren Murphy that I don't, maybe she's got like steroid blood. I don't know, but
I think your rant about it is probably going to go longer than the fight will. Let's put it that way.
Nice. I like that.
So, I think, I really fancied, I think I said, Joe, didn't I, in the preview? I fancied Andrade to get the upset. So I'm really not the right man to ask you. But
yeah, you did.
To your point, I think Andrade would simply just win against Lauren Murphy with no real issue. She's just a grinder. She's done so well to get this far, to be fair. I think she's come into the sport late. She's quite limited, really. But to get to a title shot is just a huge achievement. But it's going to be just a massive, gigantic step too far. Hopefully it's quick and painless. Without any respect, obviously, but
of course,
you know what I mean. It's such a shallow division. You're going to get these sort of things.
Yeah.
Shevchenko's on a different planet.
Yeah, I'm super happy for Lauren Murphy, and to put 5 wins together is a good effort. Beat Joanne Calderwood, who is one of our favourites, obviously, and a very good fighter as well. To be fair, she's a bit of a spoiler, Lauren Murphy. She's done extremely well, and I'm very happy for her to get the shot. And it'd be a spectacle to see her win somehow. But I mean, I don't see it. I don't see anyone in that division getting anywhere near Shevchenko. At least not for like 2-3 years until some young blood comes through. Maybe, you know. I'd expect Shevchenko to get a stoppage in this one as well, to be honest. I think sometimes, I mean, who's took her to a decision? Jennifer Meyer somehow, Liz Carmouche. I mean, I'm not clued up enough to know what those two did to manage to drag it out to a decision. To be honest, maybe Shevchenko didn't turn up on that night. Those nights.
Meyer used grappling, and then Shevchenko learned grappling overnight and became a grappler.
Yeah. I don't fancy anyone grappling against Shevchenko at the minute, to be honest. So, yeah, maybe she just had off nights, or like you say, just hadn't quite got round to grappling.
Yeah.